Israel-Hamas war rages as outcry grows over Gaza crisis. A U.S. official with knowledge of American intelligence says Hamas has a command node under the Al-Shifa hospital, uses fuel intended for the hospital, and its fighters regularly cluster in and around Al-Shifa. The information comes after comments made Sunday by a top White House official that the hospital, which is the largest one in Gaza, was being used not just to treat civilians. You can see even from open source reporting that Hamas does use hospitals, along with a lot of other civilian facilities, for command and control, for storing weapons, for housing its fighters, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said Sunday on CNN's State of the Union. Without getting into this specific hospital or that specific claim, this is Hamas's track record, both historically and in this conflict. Israel has insisted it is justified in taking military action around the hospital, despite criticism from the UN and others. The Israeli government announced it has created evacuation corridors and called for the removal of civilians, in addition to providing fuel. Hamas and hospital officials have denied the command center accusation. There's no reason why we just can't take the patients out of there instead of letting Hamas use it as a command center for terrorism, for the rockets that they fire against Israel, for the terror tunnels that they use to kill Israeli civilians, Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu said in an interview on CNN's State of the Union. Netanyahu added that Israel is treading carefully when it comes to hospitals. But we're also not going to give immunity to the terrorists. The CIA declined to comment. 10 buses carrying 564 foreign nationals departed the Gaza Strip for Egypt via the Rafah crossing on Monday, an Egyptian border official told a journalist working with CNN at the crossing. The official detailed that some 97 aid relief trucks also made their way into the Gaza Strip, loaded with essential supplies such as food, water, relief items, medical equipment, and medications. Before the conflict, the United Nations reported that about 455 trucks on average would enter daily with aid supplies. After Israel closed its crossings with Gaza, the Rafah crossing between Egypt and Gaza is the sole viable route to get aid into the Palestinian enclave. In addition, the official said that 4 injured Palestinians have been allowed entry into Egypt, each accompanied by another person. Among the injured evacuees Monday was a 59-year-old with grave head injuries who was transported in an ambulance. Another evacuee, a 38-year-old woman, arrived with a fractured right limb and meningitis, conditions she developed after being trapped for 6 days under the rubble of her bombed house, according to someone accompanying her. The Palestinian Health Ministry in the occupied West Bank has reported updated casualty figures in Gaza. In its update Monday, the ministry, which is based in Ramallah, said that 11,180 Palestinians, including 4,609 children and 3,100 women, have been killed in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7, hiding medical sources. In the Hamas-controlled enclave, injuries from the attacks have affected 28,200 individuals, the ministry said. According to the ministry, 15 patients at Al-Shifa Hospital in northern Gaza have died in recent days, among them 6 newborns, due to power outages and a shortage of medical supplies. Previously, health officials at the hospital had said 3 neonatal babies had died. Additionally, 202 healthcare workers have lost their lives, and 53 ambulances have been disabled, the ministry added. The ministry did not issue a daily report on the death toll on Sunday, saying it was unable to update casualty figures due to Israeli attacks on hospitals. The Ministry of Health in Ramallah draws data from medical sources in the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip. The Israeli military said on Monday it had killed a group of Hamas fighters embedded among civilians at Gaza's Al-Quds hospital after its troops were fired on from the hospital entrance. During operations carried out by the 188th Brigade, RPG fire and small arms fire were directed at the soldiers from the direction of the Al-Quds hospital in Gaza City. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, said in a statement. The shooting was carried out by a terrorist squad that had embedded itself within a group of civilians at the entrance of the hospital. The IDF said its forces fired towards the fighters, some of whom were killed in the exchange. During the incident, approximately 21 terrorists were killed and there were no casualties to our forces, the IDF said. CNN cannot confirm whether any civilians were injured during the firefight.